Shalom, 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 Israel. This is Captain Paul Israel from Kingdom Builders of Israel LLC, and today's class topic is going to be on the prophets of the Bible are the holy angels. Okay, Israel. Today's class topic is going to be on the prophets of the Bible are the holy angels. Okay, Israel. So again, Israel. So this is going to be a good lesson to discuss due to the fact that many of our people don't understand the understanding pertaining to the holy prophets of this Bible. Okay, so this is why I'm doing this lesson, Israel, so we can get the understanding on the examples of the holy prophets being the angels of the Bible. Okay, so we're gonna get this understanding, Israel. So Israel, get out a pen and a notepad so you can start taking your notes on this particular lesson on the prophets of the Bible are the holy angels. Okay, so we're going to start this lesson, Israel, in the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 1. This is basically the New Testament understanding. Okay, so we're going to go back and forth from the Old Testament, New Testament, and also we're going to go to the book of the Apocrypha. Okay, in this particular lesson. Okay, so we can get edified of this understanding. Okay, and so we're going to start out in the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 1. Elohim, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets. Whoa, wait a minute. You see this, Israel? It says Elohim, who at sundry times. So where it says sundry, it means several. So it's really saying Elohim, who at several times and in diverse manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets. So that's what it's saying where it says sundry. It's saying several times. So the Most High Yah spoke in many different generations in times past unto the fathers, who were the Hebrew Israelites, of course, spoke in times past to our forefathers, right? Based upon them being Hebrew Israelites, spake unto the Hebrew Israelites in times past based upon our forefathers being Hebrew Israelites. So the Most High elected the prophets in times past to teach our forefathers the commandments, right? Because the prophets are the holy angels. Okay, the prophets of this Bible are the holy angels. Okay, in general, to instruct the Hebrew Israelites on how to live right according to Yahweh's commandments. Because again, the holy angels, right, that's in the heavens with the Most High Yah, they are always delivering the word to the Hebrew Israelites. Point blank, period. Okay, as we've been witnessing in this holy Bible. Okay, so it says again in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1, Elohim, who at several times and in diverse manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets. So the Most High Yah is using the prophets to speak to the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, and the prophets who are speaking to the Hebrew Israelites are the holy angels. Point blank, period. Okay, and we're going to prove that understanding that the prophets of this Bible are the holy angels. Okay, because the Most High is always sending the prophets. He's always sending the holy angels to speak to the Hebrew Israelites to keep his commandments. That's what the Most High Yah is using the prophets for, to teach and to gather the Hebrew Israelites to get the right understanding of this Hebrew Israelite movement, which is going into Yahweh's righteousness. Okay, point blank, period. Okay, so now that we know that the Most High Yah sends the prophets to teach the Hebrew Israelites in many different generations, right? So now we're going to explain it further. Okay, we're going to go to the book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 11. And of course, the book of Psalms was wrote by King David. Okay, so King David is writing this information down. Okay, so in the book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 11, it says, Yahweh gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it. You see this, Israel? So Yahweh gave the word. Yahweh is speaking to the holy prophets to publish the understanding of his word. Okay, so where it says Yahweh gave the word, it says great was the company of those that published it. And when it says great was the company, that's going into the holy prophets. Okay, the holy prophets are the ones that wrote Yahweh's word on them scrolls, right? The holy prophets was the ones that Yahweh was dealing with to deliver the word to the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, so the prophets are the holy angels. Okay, the holy angels was always known to deliver the word from the Most High. Okay, because the Most High is using the prophets to teach and to gather the Hebrew Israelites to return unto his righteousness by keeping his commandments. Okay, that he gave to only the children of Israel to keep in many different generations. Okay, so this is what it's saying. This is what it's saying in the book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 11, that Yahweh gave the word to the prophets. Okay, to publish the understanding on them scrolls. Okay, so Yahweh gave the word. What it's really saying, Yahweh gave his word to his angels to deliver to the Israelites. That's what it's saying. Okay, point blank period. Okay, so it says so now we go back to the book of Hebrews, but we're going to go to a different chapter. We're going to go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 2. Okay, to validate what I was saying earlier, that the Most High is using the prophets to deliver his word to the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, because the prophets are the angels of this Bible. Okay, the prophets of this Bible are the holy angels. Point blank period. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 2. It says, for if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense of reward. Whoa, wait a minute. You see this, Israel? It says, for if the word spoken by angels, notice it didn't say prophets, it said by angels. For if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience receive a just recompense of reward. Because when the holy angels are telling the Hebrew Israelites, hey, keep these commandments or this thing is going to happen to you, the Israelites, if they don't listen to the holy angels, they're going to get the judgment. Because the holy angel, who is, of course, a metaphorical understanding of the prophets, right? They're getting their order from the Most High Yah. Point blank period. So when the prophets speak, they're speaking based upon Yahweh delivering the word unto them. Okay, so this is why the judgment normally occurs after the prophecy is being done or being said in a public understanding to the Hebrew Israelites. Because the prophets are the angels of the Bible. Okay, because they speaking thus saith Yahweh. Okay, they're not speaking what they feel in their heart. They speaking thus saith Yahweh. Okay, and Yahweh is using the prophets because these prophets are the angels. That's why in the book of Hebrews chapter 2 verse 2 it says, for if the word spoken by angels, point blank period, the Bible doesn't contradict itself. Okay, for if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense of reward. Because if the Hebrew Israelites are not listening to the angels who are the prophets, right, they're going to get judged. Because they're not listening to the Most High Yah. Because the Most High Yah sent the angels, sent the prophets to deliver the word to the Hebrew Israelites so the Hebrew Israelites can repent. So they don't get the judgment. But again, because the Hebrew Israelites are stubborn, they don't want to hearken to the words spoken by these angels who are the prophets. The judgment is going to occur. based upon the holy prophets, based upon these holy angels getting the word from Yahweh himself. Okay? Because the angels are going to deliver the word that Yahweh spoke unto them. Okay? Point blank, period. The prophets are only going to teach, thus saith Yahweh. The prophets of this Bible are only going to teach, thus saith Yahweh, who are actually the holy angels. Okay? So the Most High is using the holy angels, who are in metaphorical sense are the prophets. Okay, to deliver the word to the Hebrew Israelites, to turn from your wicked ways before the judgment. Point blank, period. Okay, the Bible doesn't contradict itself. Okay, and this is in the New Testament to prove that the prophets are the holy angels. Okay, the prophets of this holy Bible are the angels of the Most High Yah. Point blank, period. Okay, so now we go to Amos chapter 3 verse 7. And prophet Amos was a prophet from the Old Testament understanding. Okay, Amos chapter 3 verse 7. Surely Yahweh Elohim will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. The prophets. Whoa, wait a minute. You see this, Israel? You see this? It says, surely Yahweh Elohim will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Meaning Yahweh is not going to put things in action until he puts the spirit on these prophets, who are the holy angels, to prophesy to the world on what is to come. Then Yahweh is going to bring the judgment. Okay, because Yahweh is all about warning the children of Israel and also warning these Gentile nations of future judgments to come. Okay, based upon what the holy angels are ministering to the world, based upon what the holy angels, who are the prophets, are ministering to the children of Israel on. Okay, because the holy prophets are speaking, thus saith Yahweh. Okay, and the Most High Yah warns people before the judgment. So the Most High Yah is using the prophets to warn the people before the judgments. Okay, point blank, period. Okay, because again, the prophets of this Bible are the angels. Okay, the holy prophets of this Bible are the holy angels. Okay, point blank, period. Okay, and this is why judgments normally occur after these prophets speak, thus saith Yahweh. Okay, point blank, period. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 21. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 21. This is, of course, in the New Testament understanding, and this is spoken by Peter, who was, again, the head apostle of Christ. Okay, he was one of the head apostles of Christ. He was the top apostle of those 12 apostles. Okay, he was the top apostle. Okay, 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 21. It says, for the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of Elohim spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost. You see this, Israel? Let's read this again. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of Elohim spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost. So again, it was not regular men writing the scrolls. Okay, it was not regular men writing the scrolls, which now later became the Bible. Okay, it was not regular men. So Peter the apostle is letting it be known these were holy men of Elohim, meaning these were holy angels of Elohim, spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost. They spake based upon them being moved by the Spirit of the Most High, because the Most High is using the prophets, who are holy angels, to deliver his word to the people, who are the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, the Most High is using the prophets to deliver the word to these Gentile nations, to let the Gentile nations know that their judgment is coming. The Most High Yah is using the prophets, who are the holy angels, to deliver the warning to the Hebrew Israelites that they must return to what? These commandments before they be judged. Okay, this is what the Bible is saying. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man. The Most High is not calling regular men to write his words on paper. The Most High is only using his angels, who are the prophets, to write the word, so the Hebrew Israelites can get the right understanding. So these Gentile nations can now understand that the Most High is only dealing with the Hebrew Israelites only. Okay, this world that we're living in now is basically put on notice because the prophets are back. That means judgment is coming because the holy prophets are back in this earth prophesying. Okay, so this is why you look on the news. This is why you see these judgments coming out in the news. Because the Most High is using the top prophets of this Bible to bring judgment to this earth. Point blank, period. Okay, so again, Peter, the head apostle, is letting it be known. The men that wrote the scrolls, the men that wrote this Bible, guess what? They were holy prophets. They were holy men. They were the holy angels. Point blank, period. That's what Peter is saying. But holy men of Elohim. The reason why they was referred to as the holy men of Elohim is because they were the holy angels. That's what makes them holy, because they are the holy angels of the Most High Yah, which makes them holy men, because the angels of the Most High are men. Okay, the Bible doesn't contradict itself. Okay, so again, now we got understanding that the prophets of this Bible, right? They are the holy angels of the Most High Yah. Point blank, period. Because Peter just let you know that it was not a regular man writing the scrolls. Because many people are questioning who wrote the Bible. Who are these men writing about the Most High? You got your answer. These were the holy angels of the Most High Yah writing this information down concerning the Most High Yah, or concerning the prophecies that's going to come to pass. These were the holy angels. Okay, so again, the prophets of this Bible are the holy angels. Point blank, period. Okay, so now we got the understanding. So now we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 44 verse 16, because many people don't understand the history about the prophet Enoch. Okay, Enoch was a prophet of the Most High, but he did not come through the lineage of the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, but he was still a prophet of the Most High. Enoch description is basically going into him being a prophet, but in actuality, he was actually an holy angel of the Most High Yah. Okay, so we're going to start out in the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 44 verse 16. So again, this book is in the book of the Apocrypha. Okay, it says, Enoch pleased Yahweh and was translated, being an example of repentance to all generations. So it says Enoch pleased Yahweh. So Enoch pleased Yahweh because Enoch was a holy angel. Okay, Enoch knew about Yahweh's righteousness, which was the commandments. Okay, and was translated, meaning Enoch got, when it says and was translated, that's going into Enoch got taken up to the heavens to be with the Most High Yah in the heavenly realm. Enoch got beamed up in that chariot or spaceship, okay, to be with the Most High Yah, okay, because Enoch was an holy angel, okay, because when you go into the book of Revelations, you're only witnessing from John the Revelator mentioning about the holy angels being in the heavens with the Most High Yah, included, of course, in general with Yahshua the Mashiach being in the midst of the heavens as well. But in general, you're only witnessing, understanding that it's only the holy angels in the heaven with the Most High Yah, and also included Yahshua the Mashiach. Okay, so now you have Enoch getting beamed up in the chariot to get to the heavens with the Most High Yah, because Enoch was an angel of the Most High Yah. Okay, that's how Enoch knew how to please Yahweh. Okay, so Enoch pleased Yahweh and was translated, mean he was beamed up in the chariot, which was those spaceships. Okay, being an example of repentance to all generations. Okay, so we supposed to be following the understanding of this man named Enoch, because Enoch kept the commandments. Okay, so now we got the understanding of that. But so now we're going to go to, of course, the book of Jude, which is going into the New Testament understanding to prove that Enoch was a prophet, even though he did not come from the lineage of the Hebrew Israelites. But Enoch was still a prophet because, again, he was a holy angel. Okay, Jude chapter 1 verse 14, it says, and Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, because Enoch was a descendant of Adam on earth, and Enoch also the seventh from Adam prophesied of these, saying, behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints. Whoa, wait a minute. You see this, Israel? It says, and Enoch also the seventh from Adam. So Enoch is a descendant of Adam, and he prophesied of these because, like I said earlier, Enoch was a prophet of the Most High Yah, even though he did not come through the lineage of the Hebrew Israelites. But the Most High used Enoch to prophesy because Enoch was a holy angel. Okay, even though he came through the descendant line of Adam. It says, prophesied of these, saying, behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints. So it says the Lord cometh. It's talking about Christ. So Enoch prophesied about Christ, the Black Messiah, coming with thousands upon thousands of the holy angels in them chariots or spaceships. Okay, because Enoch was a prophet. He prophesied on things that was going to come to pass in the future. So when a prophet prophesies on things, that's what makes him a prophet, because he's prophesying on future events. Okay, that's how you know Enoch was a prophet of the Most High. And also Enoch was an actual holy angel of the Most High Yah. Okay, point blank, period. And he prophesied on Yahshua's return to the earth during his second coming, to bring judgment on the earth with the host of the holy angels, and also with the 144,000 elect men of Israel, who are also the holy angels of the Most High Yah. Point blank, period. Okay, so now that we know Enoch was a prophet, which he was an holy angel of the Most High Yah. Okay, so now we go to the book of Jude chapter 1 verse 15 on the prophecy that Enoch was prophesying on concerning what was going to happen when Yahshua the Mashiach make his second coming to the earth. Jude chapter 1 verse 15. Jude chapter 1 verse 15. It says, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them all of their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. So Enoch the prophet is prophesying that Yahshua the Mashiach is going to return with the host of the holy angels to bring judgment on the sinners of those individuals that did not repent from their sins. That's what Enoch is prophesying. Okay, so again, Enoch prophesied and saw these things in a vision on Yahshua the Mashiach return with the host of the holy angels. Okay. And also Jude was an actual apostle of Christ, but Jude was not a part of the 12 disciple hierarchy. Okay. But Jude was an actual apostle of the Black Messiah. Okay. And of course, Jude is saying that Enoch the prophet prophesied on Yahshua the Mashiach bringing judgment to the world, and primarily bringing judgment to the rebellious Hebrew Israelites. Bringing judgment to the Hebrew Israelites on the ones that did not want to keep Yahweh's commandments. They constantly murmured against the prophets. They constantly murmured against the holy angels who were being referred to as being those holy prophets. Okay, because the Most High is sending those holy prophets who are actually holy angels to deliver his righteousness, his commandments to the children of Israel. Okay, but unfortunately, the majority of the Hebrew Israelites are not going to hearken to this Bible. Okay, but again, judgment is coming for the rebellious Hebrew Israelites, as you can see in this understanding that was spoken by Enoch the prophet. When you go back to Jude chapter 1 verse 14, understanding. Okay, so now we got the understanding. So now we go, of course, to the book of Genesis chapter 5 verse 21 to get history on Enoch. Okay, we're going to get a little bit history of the prophet Enoch, who is actually an holy angel. Okay. So this is the book of Genesis chapter 5 verse 21. It says, and Enoch, of course, in general, the person who wrote the book of Genesis was Moses. Okay, Moses was the prophet that wrote the book of Genesis. And of course, Moses is an actual holy angel of the Bible as well, which we're going to prove in this lesson. Okay, but right now we're going to get into the understanding about Enoch. So we go into the book of Genesis chapter 5 verse 21. It says, and Enoch lived 65 years and begat Methuselah. So Enoch was at age 65 years of age, and he had a son named Methuselah. Okay, let's go to the next one. Genesis chapter 5 verse 22. And Enoch walked with Elohim after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters. So again, Enoch walked with the Most High, meaning what? He kept Yahweh's commandments. Okay, it says after he begat Methuselah 300 years. So when Enoch was 300 years old, he had other sons and daughters. That's what it said, and begat sons and daughters. Okay. So now we go to Genesis chapter 5 verse 23. Genesis chapter 5 verse 23. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. So you see this, Israel? So Enoch lived up to be around 365 years on earth. Okay. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. Okay. So we're going to go to the next one. Genesis chapter 5 verse 24. It says, and Enoch walked with Elohim, and he was not, for Elohim took him. So it says, and Enoch walked with Elohim. So Enoch walked with the Most High, meaning Enoch kept Yahweh's commandments. And Moses put, of course, a colon right here. Okay. He put a colon right here for a particular reason. Right. And Enoch walked with Elohim. And it says, and he was not. And he was not. What is Moses explaining? It's explaining that Enoch was not a Hebrew Israelite, but he walked with the Most High Yah by keeping the commandments. And he was not. That's what it's explaining. That's what Moses is saying. And he was not an Israelite, but Enoch walked with the Most High Yah because Enoch was a holy angel. For Elohim took him, meaning the Most High Yah beamed him up in that spaceship. That's what it is saying. The Most High took Enoch because Enoch was an holy angel. Okay. The Most High had Enoch on earth for a period of time on earth to now be beamed up in that spaceship. Okay, to be with the Most High Yah in the heavenly realm. Okay, that's what it's saying. So now you know when it says, and Enoch walked with Elohim, and he was not. So it's saying, and he was not a part of the Hebrew Israelite understanding as far as being a part of the Israelite tribes. Okay, that's what it said, and he was not. But again, Yahweh still took Enoch the prophet, because Enoch was a holy angel. That's why Yahweh took him to be with him in the heavenly realm. Okay, point blank period. Because Yahweh is not going to just pick a random guy that's out here in the world to be in the heavenly realm with him. So Yahweh is going to pick a holy angel to be with him in the heavens. This is just basic common sense. Okay. So now we got the understanding. So now we go to the book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 2. We're going to the New Testament understanding to get the understanding. It says, this is why in the book of Hebrews it mentioned this understanding. It says, be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. You see this, Israel? So again, it says, be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Like I said earlier, the reason why this verse is in here is to show you, Israel, that the prophets in general, they appear to be like regular men, but they are the holy angels. That's why this is mentioned in this particular verse. Okay, the prophets of the Most High are the holy angels. Okay, because they are sent here to the earth to deliver the word of the Most High Yah. Point blank period. It says, be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Because people are waiting to see the angel wings behind somebody so they can be noticed to be the holy angels. No. The holy angels of the Bible appear to be like regular men on earth. That's why this particular verse said that. So this is why you Hebrew Israelites, you need to treat your fellow Hebrew Israelite brother with respect. Okay, you need to treat your fellow Hebrew Israelite brother with love and kindness, because you don't know, you may be entertaining an holy angel. Okay, and everything that you're doing against this particular brother has been recorded by the holy angels of the Most High Yah to bring to judgment unto you, because you did not bring brotherly love to your fellow Hebrew Israelite brother. Okay, so again, you Hebrew Israelites that's out here, you need to show love to your neighbor. Okay, whether it's a male or female. Okay, but in general, you need to show love to your brothers. Okay, primarily, especially that, because again, you don't know if these brothers are the holy angels of the Most High Yah. Okay, so that's what it's getting into. Okay, so now we go to the book of 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 11, which is the Old Testament understanding. This also too is going to prove that another prophet, who is the prophet Elijah, was an actual holy angel as well. Okay, and I'm going to back my claims up as far as Moses and Elijah being the holy angels all the way in the New Testament understanding. We're going to prove that. But this understanding right here is getting into the understanding of prophet Elijah being beamed up in that spaceship understanding to be with the Most High in the heavenly realm. Okay, this is the book of 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. Whoa, wait a minute. You see this, Israel? So Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. It's explaining that this spaceship was spinning like a whirlwind in a circular form. And Elijah prophet got beamed up to be in the heavens with the Most High Yah. And of course, when it says, behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, meaning this spaceship had a brightness of lighting around this particular spaceship that was similar to a chariot of fire. Okay, or a spaceship of fire is brightness with a brightness of light. and horses of fire, meaning other chariots around this particular spaceship was observed around this particular main spaceship that was observed as basically Elijah the prophet getting beamed up into the spaceship, because it was many spaceships around in the area while Elijah the prophet got beamed up in this particular one spaceship. Okay. So again, Elijah the prophet was taken up into the heavens because Elijah the prophet was a holy angel of the Bible. Okay. Point blank, period. So now when you see in 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 11, as you can see, Elijah the prophet got taken up to be in the heavenly realm with the Most High Yah at this time. Okay. So as you can see, so now let's prove that Elijah the prophet is a holy angel. And also we're going to prove Moses is a holy angel as well. Okay. We're going to go to the New Testament understanding. So this is the book of Matthew chapter 17 verse 3. Okay. This is to prove that Moses and Elijah the prophet are the holy angels of the Most High Yah. Okay. And it says, and behold, there appeared unto them Moses and Elias talking with him. Whoa, wait a minute. So now in the New Testament, those disciples are observing Moses and Elijah, the prophet, talking with Christ, the Black Messiah. Okay. So this is what it's saying in the book of Matthew chapter 17 verse 3. So how in the world is Moses and Elijah talking with Yahshua the Mashiach all the way in the New Testament when we already got understanding that Moses and prophet Elijah are only mentioned in the Old Testament understanding as when they were alive? Okay. How they're in the New Testament having a conversation with Christ, the Black Messiah? That's because those men are the holy angels of the Most High. Point blank, period. Okay. The Bible doesn't contradict itself. Okay, let's prove again that Peter confirmed the understanding of seeing Yahshua the Black Messiah. He confirmed Moses. He confirmed Elijah the prophet was all talking with each other in the New Testament understanding. This is what Peter observed himself, understanding of what he observed. Okay, this is the book of Matthew chapter 17 verse 4. Then answered Peter, because Peter was a part of that 12 apostle understanding, right? Then answered Peter and said unto Yahshua, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elias. Whoa, wait a minute. You see this, Israel? It says, notice what Peter is saying. He's saying it's good for all of us to be here. He's confirming Yahshua the Mashiach in the New Testament was present with Moses and Elijah the prophet. Where it says Elias is talking about Elijah the prophet. Okay, that's what it's saying. So Peter confirms that Moses, prophet Elijah, and Yahshua the Mashiach was having a conversation. Okay, how is that possible? Because again, Moses and the prophet Elijah are the holy angels of the Most High. That's how they are appearing to be in the midst of Yahshua the Mashiach having a conversation with him. Okay, point blank, period. So again, the holy prophets of the Bible are the holy angels. Point blank, period. Okay, so again, Hebrews chapter 13 verse 2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. So you Hebrew Israelites, you need to be careful who you're talking to out here, because you could be talking to an actual holy angel and don't even know it. Okay? So again, this is a warning to you Hebrew Israelites. Okay. So again, so now we go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 38, to get further confirmation that the holy angels are the prophets of this Bible understanding. Okay. Again, we're going to go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 38. And of course, 2nd Ezra is in the book of the Apocrypha. And of course, Ezra is the Greco-Latin name for the prophet Ezra from the Old Testament understanding. Okay. 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 38. And it says, "And now, brother, behold, what glory, and see the people that come from the east." So the Most High is allowing Ezra the prophet to see in the vision of the understanding of the Most High bringing a group of men to be sent on earth at a futuristic understanding. Okay. This is what it's getting into. Okay. That Ezra, the prophet, is going to get this understanding based upon this holy angel talking to Ezra, the prophet, on about what's about to happen in future tense understanding. Okay. 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 39. Okay. In general, this is concerning the prophecy on what the Most High is going to do in the future to help gather the children of Israel to come back unto him by learning his commandments. The Most High has to bring back certain type of men to gather the sheep back unto him. Okay. So this is what the Most High is going to do in the futuristic understanding, which of course in general, we're living out this understanding in today's time. Okay. 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 39. It says, "Unto whom I will give for leaders, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." When it says Hosea, it's talking about Hosea. Amos and Micah. When it says Micah, it's talking about Micah. Okay. When it says and Micah, it's talking about Micah, the prophet Micah. And it says another prophet, it would be Joel. And when it says Abdias, that's talking about Obadiah. Okay. And it says and Jonas. And when it says Jonas, it's talking about Jonah. The Most High is going to send the prophet Jonah back. Okay. So as you can see, it says, "Unto whom I will give for leaders." So the Most High is going to send the top prophets back in the future understanding, which we're living out in today's time. So the Most High is going to send out the top prophets, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Hosea, Amos, and Micah, Joel, Obadiah, and Jonah. That's what it's saying. Okay. So now we got the understanding. That the Most High is sending the top prophets back in the future understanding. Okay. The Most High is sending these top prophets back in these last days so that Hebrew Israelites can get the proper understanding on how to live right according to the Bible. Okay. 2nd Ezra, chapter 1, verse 40. It says the Most High is going to send prophet Nahum back. And Habakkuk is talking about Habakkuk. When it says Habakkuk, it's talking about the prophet Habakkuk. And it says Zophanias, that's talking about the prophet Zephaniah. When it says the prophet Agius, it's talking about the prophet Haggai. Okay, the prophet Haggai. That's what it's saying. When it says Zachary, it's talking about prophet Zechariah. Okay. And Malachi, it's talking about prophet Malachi. This is the prophets that the Most High is going to send to the earth in these last days. Okay. It says, which is called also an angel of Yahweh. Whoa, wait a minute. You see this, Israel? You see what the Most High told the holy angel to tell prophet Ezra, right? Who's going by Ezra? So the Most High is telling the holy angel to tell prophet Ezra, or to tell prophet Ezra, that he's going to send the top prophets back to the earth, because why? They are the holy angels of the Most High. Okay? That's what the holy angel is telling the prophet Ezra on. okay, concerning the understanding. Okay, as you can see, the Most High Yah is putting an understanding on this particular term that these men are referred to as the angels of the Most High Yah. Point blank period. The Bible doesn't contradict itself. Okay. So now we got the understanding. So now we go to another understanding in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 2 verse 18. This is also to prove that the Most High Yah is going to send two other top prophets in these last days to help gather the sheep. Okay. It's going to mention these other top prophets that the Most High is going to send to the earth in these last days. Okay, 2nd Ezra chapter 2 verse 18. For thy help will I send my servants Esai and Jeremy, after whose counsel I have sanctified, and prepared for thee 12 trees laden with diverse fruits. So again, where it says, for thy help will I send my servants Esai. When it says Esai, that's talking about the prophet Isaiah. Okay, the prophet Isaiah. And it says, and Jeremy. When it says, and Jeremy, that's talking about the prophet Jeremiah. So the Most High Yah is going to send the prophet Isaiah and also the prophet Jeremiah back to the earth in these last days to help gather the Hebrew Israelites to get the right understanding of what the Bible is saying. It's going to prove it in the next verse that the Most High Yah is sending these top prophets to the earth to bring the Israelites back to the understanding of Yahweh's righteousness. Okay. 2nd Ezra chapter 2 verse 19. And as many fountains flowing with milk and honey, and 7 mighty mountains, whereupon there grow roses and lilies, whereby I will fill thy children with joy. Whoa, wait a minute. You see this, Israel? So again, by the Most High Yah establishing these top prophets to be sent to the earth in these last days, they're going to bring the word of the Most High in its proper understanding, equivalent to fountains flowing with milk and honey, and 7 mighty mountains whereupon there grow roses and lilies. So basically, it's going to be a prosperous understanding that the Hebrew Israelites are going to get the right information to grow in knowledge of righteousness of the Most High. That's what it's saying. Whereby I will fill thy children with joy. So the Most High is going to fill these Hebrew Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, and also our people that scattered abroad with his righteousness, which is going to be a joy for the Hebrew Israelites, because the Hebrew Israelites in these last days were once lost people. Now they are now knowledgeable on what it is, how to live right according to the Bible. They are now having the knowledge on why they went into slavery during many different generations. Now they have the understanding that they have the kingdom next that's to come. They now have the understanding that Christ, the Black Messiah, the host of the holy angels, and also the 144,000 elect men of Israel are going to come to redeem them from their captivity constraints by the hands of these Gentile nations. This is why the Hebrew Israelites are going to be filled with joy, because now they realize we have the kingdom next as the Hebrew Israelites to reign on earth with the Black Messiah. because we are Yahweh's chosen people. This is what the Hebrew Israelites are witnessing in their mind and their consciousness in these last days, because Yahweh sent the holy prophets, who are those holy angels. Okay, this is what the Bible is saying. This is how you properly break this Bible down properly. Okay, point blank, period. So now we go to the book of Jeremiah to prove that Jeremiah himself was an holy angel of the Bible, and he's going to confirm the understanding in his own book. Okay, this is the book of Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 4. Okay, this is the book of Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 4 to prove that Jeremiah the prophet was a holy angel of the Most High Yah. It says, then the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying. So now the word of the Most High is coming into Jeremiah's consciousness, because now Jeremiah is filled with the Spirit of the Most High to get the right understanding. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. Now this is the Spirit of the Most High speaking within Jeremiah the prophet. Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Whoa, 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 wait a minute. You see this, Israel? The Most High speaking to Jeremiah the prophet, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Yahweh is telling Jeremiah through the Spirit, I already knew you before you was formed and fashioned in your mother's belly on earth, because you are the holy angel in the heavenly realm, understanding when you was with me in the heavenly realm. This is what the Most High Yah is having that conversation with Jeremiah the prophet about. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, because the Most High already sanctified Jeremiah the prophet to be a prophet on earth of his time in this particular generation that has been spoken and written in the book of Jeremiah on the understanding on. But the Most High Yah is establishing that Jeremiah was already ordained to be a prophet from the heavenly realm understanding, because Jeremiah was a holy angel of the Most High Yah that was going to be sent to the earth as prophet Jeremiah. Okay, to prophesy to the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, so this is what thus saith Yahweh is saying to prophet Jeremiah on. Okay, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So the Most High Yah saying, I already had this conversation with you in the heavenly realm that you was going to be sent to the earth to prophesy to the Hebrew Israelites. That's what the Most High Yah is telling Jeremiah, that we already had this conversation before you was even formed in your mother's womb. We already had this conversation in the heavenly realm that you was going to be a prophet on earth. That's what Yahweh is telling Jeremiah, because Jeremiah the prophet is an holy angel of the Most High Yah. Point blank, period. The Bible doesn't contradict itself. Okay, so now let's go to, again, Hebrews chapter 2 verse 2 to conclude the understanding, which I already brought out earlier, that the holy prophets of this Bible are the holy angels of the Most High Yah. Hebrews chapter 2 verse 2. It says, for if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience receive a just recompense of reward, because the word of the Most High was spoken by the holy angels. And we now know, based upon what information was presented unto you in this lesson, that we now know that the prophets are the angels of the Most High, because they are the ones delivering the word of the Most High. The Most High is not picking random people to write his words down on paper. The Most High elected those prophets, who are the holy angels, to write his words down on paper to give to the Hebrew Israelites throughout their generations on earth. Point blank, period. This is what the Bible is saying in its proper context. Okay, there's no confusion here. That's why it says, for if the word spoken by angels, it didn't say the word spoken by regular men. It didn't say for the word spoken by anybody. It says, for if the word spoken by angels, point blank, period. Okay, the Bible doesn't contradict itself. Okay, that's why you go back to the book of Psalms, chapter 68, verse 11. It says Yahweh gave the word. He gave the word to those holy angels who were the prophets. Yahweh gave the word. Great was the company of those that published it, because the holy angels who were those prophets was the company of those that published it. Point blank, period. Okay, because it was many prophets that wrote Yahweh's word down on paper. That's why it says great was the company. Okay, because Yahweh used many prophets who were those holy angels to write his word on paper or on those scrolls. Okay, point blank, period. To publicize it to the Hebrew Israelites throughout many different generations. Okay, so this is what it's saying, Israel. So as you can see, Israel, the Bible doesn't contradict itself. So in this particular lesson, this lesson was to prove that the holy prophets of the Bible are the holy angels of the Most High Yah. Okay, so going forward in other lessons, there should be no confusion going on here. And also, we got the history of Enoch understanding, okay, being a prophet of the Most High, right? Based upon what we observe in the book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 14, right? But there is no mention of Enoch, the prophet, having a book to be publicized to the Hebrew Israelites. There's no mention of that. Okay, so like I said earlier, we have to follow what is written. Okay, we have to stick to what is written. Enoch did not publicize things to be written down as far as on paper. He did not write anything on paper to be passed down generational. But the word of mouth understanding was passed down. So when Jude is prophesying on what Enoch is saying, this is passed down understanding on what was told to Jude based upon tradition on what Enoch was talking about. Okay, on prophetic understanding. Okay, but again, there is no real actual book called the Book of Enoch. So if you're reading the Book of Enoch in today's time understanding, you're going off. Because again, the Book of Enoch is not matching up with prophecy. Okay, so but the Enoch of this Holy Bible does match up with prophecy, because this is the understanding what the holy prophets or the disciples had wrote down concerning truth, concerning about Enoch. Okay, but again, if you're reading the Book of Enoch of today's time, you're going off. Okay, because there's no mention of the Book of Enoch being mentioned in this Holy Bible. Okay, hopefully, Israel, you enjoyed this classroom lesson on the holy prophets of the Bible are the holy angels of the Most High Yah. Hopefully you enjoyed this understanding, and it's going to be many more lessons, Israel, because we're trying to push out so much content in a short matter of time frame. But other than that, Israel, hopefully you took your notes on this quick lesson. And other than that, shalom.
Well done. Outstanding. Impressive. Excellent.